President Trump, would you consider appointing a special counsel to investigate the Jeffrey Epstein investigation?
I have nothing to do with it. I have nothing to do with it.
Donald Trump just fled a press conference after being asked about the Epstein files. He barely got the words out, "I have nothing to do with that," before vanishing from the frame. But the truth doesn't disappear that easily. Old tweets, resurfaced video clips, and a growing wave of outrage, even from his former loyalists, suggest one thing: Donald Trump didn't just know Jeffrey Epstein. He may very well be part of the story. And the question now echoing across social media, dinner tables, and among voters is, what is Trump so afraid might come out of the Epstein files? A political wound that won't heal. The Epstein files are quickly turning into a festering political wound for former President Donald Trump. His abrupt exit from a press briefing, when asked whether he'd appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Epstein, spoke volumes. Just 5 words: "I have nothing to do with that." Then silence. The irony? Back in 2016, Trump was one of the loudest voices pushing Epstein into the public spotlight. He went after Bill Clinton for flying on Epstein's disgusting island, promised transparency, and told voters the truth would come out. MAGA influencers and grassroots supporters believed him. Now many of them feel betrayed. Trump and the Epstein files. What's there? Trump hasn't been criminally charged in the Epstein case, but his name shows up in multiple places: guest logs, private flight records, Epstein's infamous Black Book, and even in sworn testimony from survivors like Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited at Mar-a-Lago, Trump's own resort. Worse, when Epstein died in federal custody in 2019, while Trump was president, critical jail surveillance footage mysteriously malfunctioned, and vital videos were later reported as accidentally erased. It only fueled suspicions that powerful people were protecting each other. Trump and the Epstein files. What's there? Trump hasn't been criminally charged in the Epstein case, but his name shows up in multiple places: guest logs, private flight records, Epstein's infamous Black Book, and even in sworn testimony from survivors like Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited at Mar-a-Lago, Trump's own resort. Worse, when Epstein died in federal custody in 2019, while Trump was president, critical jail surveillance footage mysteriously malfunctioned, and vital videos were later reported as accidentally erased. It only fueled suspicions that powerful people were protecting each other. From truth-teller to gaslighter, Trump went from demanding answers about Epstein to mocking the entire scandal as a Democrat hoax and nonsense pushed by stupid Republicans. When pressed on the issue, he pivots to distractions, talking about Sharpies, Diet Coke, or Joe Biden's age, while ignoring what should be a national emergency: the trafficking and abuse of minors. This deflection hasn't gone unnoticed. Hardcore MAGA voices like Jessica Reed Cross, Tiffany Fong, Riley Gaines, and even Mike Flynn Jr. have publicly criticized Trump. Many now say they feel insulted. They ask, how could someone who claimed to fight for children now brush this off as irrelevant? A political awakening. The backlash is more than disappointment. It's an ideological rupture. People who sacrificed careers, friendships, even their own safety to support Trump now feel mocked and dismissed. Hashtags like hashtag Epstein cover-up, hashtag where is the list, and hashtag Trump body count are going viral, not just from liberals, but from Trump's own base. As one former supporter wrote, "If caring about abused children makes Trump think I'm the problem, then maybe I've been wrong about him all along."
A political awakening. The backlash is more than disappointment. It's an ideological rupture. People who sacrificed careers, friendships, even their own safety to support Trump now feel mocked and dismissed. Hashtags like hashtag Epstein cover-up, hashtag where is the list, and hashtag Trump body count are going viral, not just from liberals, but from Trump's own base. As one former supporter wrote, "If caring about abused children makes Trump think I'm the problem, then maybe I've been wrong about him all along." Donald Trump's flight from the truth. Why Epstein's ghost still haunts American politics. It started with a question, simple, direct, and fair. Would you appoint a special prosecutor to reopen the Epstein case? Donald Trump didn't answer. Instead, he backed away from the microphone, muttered, "I had nothing to do with that," and vanished off camera. But the question didn't vanish. It ignited a firestorm. On social media, across dining room tables, inside veteran conservative forums, one question refuses to die. What exactly is Donald Trump afraid will come out of the Epstein files? The Epstein crisis becomes a political wound. The Epstein scandal, long treated as a lurid footnote in American media, is rapidly morphing into an open wound, especially for Trump. His sudden exit from the press conference didn't signal confidence, it signaled panic. Once a loud voice demanding justice over Epstein's cesspool island and hinting at bombshell revelations against the Clintons, Trump now avoids the topic altogether. The irony? Many of the very people who once cheered his promises to expose the elite are now the ones most furious at his silence. Trump's name in the Epstein orbit. No, Donald Trump hasn't been charged with a crime related to Epstein, but he's not invisible in the record either. He appears in Epstein's infamous Black Book. He shows up in flight logs, guest lists, and most disturbingly, in the testimony of survivor Virginia Giuffre, who says she was recruited at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. That alone would demand clarification. Add to that the chilling coincidence of Epstein's jail cameras malfunctioning the night he died in federal custody under Trump's presidency, and it's no wonder suspicions are growing louder. From crusader to gaslighter. In 2016, Trump weaponized the Epstein case. He framed it as a symbol of elite corruption. Now, when pressed, he calls it a hoax or shrugs it off as Democrat nonsense. Worse, he distracts with petty rants about fountain pens and soda bottles, all while avoiding the central issue: what happened to the list? Why was Epstein's network never fully exposed? To many, this isn't just evasion, it's gaslighting. And his supporters know it. Jessica Reed Cross, a high-profile MAGA voice, publicly questioned Trump's change in tone. Influencers like Tiffany Fong, Riley Gaines, and even Mike Flynn Jr., once fiercely loyal, are now openly asking why Trump seems to fear transparency. If you think child sex trafficking is a joke, one viewer posted, then we never really shared values in the first place. A political awakening on the right. This isn't just backlash, it's ideological rupture. People who defended Trump at great personal cost are now confronting the uncomfortable possibility that he might be part of the very problem he promised to fight. Hashtags like hashtag Epstein cover-up and hashtag Trump body count aren't just trending among liberals. They're lighting up conservative Telegram channels and X feeds. For many, this is a moment of reckoning. One former supporter wrote, "If caring about trafficked kids makes me annoying or obsessed, then I don't want any part of this movement anymore." Others are framing it as betrayal, not just of politics, but of shared moral ground. The bigger issue, trust in justice. At its heart, the Epstein cover-up from both parties, from multiple presidents, from corporate media, isn't just a legal scandal. It's a moral indictment of the American justice system. If the names in Epstein's files really include senators, billionaires, and media moguls, then sealing those documents is more than suspicious. It's a declaration. There are two sets of laws in America, one for them and one for the rest of us. That message is not lost on the public. The silence of the DOJ, the stonewalling by Congress, and the apathy of legacy media have fueled a hunger for truth that no algorithm can suppress. People don't want conspiracy theories. They want transparency. They want accountability. And they're no longer waiting for permission. The final question. Jeffrey Epstein may be dead, but his secrets are not. And until the full story is told, including who protected him, who used his services, and who fears the release of his files, America's claim to justice remains hollow. This isn't about left versus right. It's about right versus wrong. So the question lingers, not just for Donald Trump, but for the entire American system of power. If even the victims of child sex trafficking can't get justice because the perpetrators are too powerful, what exactly is left of the republic?